Hi bitches, what's good? It's Janae and I'm back with another video. In today's video, I wanted to discuss the fact that I am trans, I'm a leftist, and I'm also Christian, which is something that you don't typically hear. Those three things all together is something that a lot of people would be very shocking, very different. But before we get into that, real quick, I wanted to say, please like and sub this video because I will be streaming very soon. I'm going to be doing political streams, kind of like how Vash and Xander Hall and Destiny do. I'm going to start doing that. I don't know at what point I'm going to start doing it. I'm trying to get everything set up and learn how to use all the equipment so that I have no problems once I do it. But like and sub this video to stay tuned, and I will give more updates on that. Anyways, let's get right into the content. Now, I know that being Christian or just hearing about Christianity, religious things like that, I know that's a very sore spot for a lot of people, and a lot of people have definitely been damaged and hurt by people who claim to be Christians. I don't believe these people to be actual Christians. There's a difference between organized religion and Christianity. Christianity, in my interpretation of it, is not necessarily a religion. It's more of a philosophy. Basically, being a Christian means that you follow in the teachings of Jesus, who we believe is God, and he is basically God walking as a man on the earth. So that's what Christianity is. It's not necessarily an organized religion. However, there is an organized religion, being the church, and a lot of them don't seem to get the mark correct. So I definitely want to talk to those people that feel like they have been hurt in some way by Christianity, by the church, whatever it may be. I want to advocate to those people and explain to those people that that's not my God, and I kind of want to explain where I'm coming from and how I see this whole thing. Now, a lot of Christians will say that being gay or being trans is a sin and that you'll go to hell, and they're very loud, very vocal about this. Not everyone in the religion actually believes that. I mean, I'm fucking trans myself, right? And so here's how I kind of justify it, or not even justify it. Here's how I kind of explain it. The way that people try to criticize it is they say God doesn't make mistakes. God made a man and a woman. It says in Genesis, male and female, he created them. And yeah, so they say God doesn't make mistakes, like you're not trans, you're born how you are. Here's my argument for this, okay? Now, God made the earth and everything was perfect, right? And then Adam and Eve, when they sinned, when they ate from the tree of knowledge, sin had entered the world because of this. And as a result of this, there was bad things that entered the world. Like before this, the lion and the lamb lay together. That's what it said. And now lions eat lamb. There's violence, there's hunger, famine, all sorts of bad things, natural disasters. There's sickness. People are born with various disabilities. People get cancer, other ailments, whatever it may be. Here's how I interpret this. Being trans, being born with a brain that does not match up to your body, being born with gender dysphoria is a result of sin. Now, you might be asking yourself, are you saying that being trans is a sin? No, of course not. Being transgender is not a sin. When I say it's a result of sin, I mean in the same way that being born with bipolar disorder or ADHD, autism, or even developing some sort of disease or whatever it may be is a result of sin, right? Because that's not the intention, right? Because if everything is how it's supposed to be, I should have been born with a female body, right? Because I believe in souls, right? So the body is just like the car and the soul is the driver. So the fact that your body like fades away, your body's not forever. And because this world is sinful, we're born with bodies that don't always match up to who our souls are, who we actually are. So I do 100% believe that this disconnection between outward appearance versus inner self-identification is due to sin. Because when sin corrupted the world, things became unright. And here's the issue, is that if people look at this situation in this manner, then they understand that it's an issue that needs to be corrected. Just because sin exists in the world doesn't mean we don't have things like medicine, right? Like just because you get sick and you get cancer, you don't say, oh, well, God made me to have cancer. This is his intention. It's not sinful to go ahead and get chemotherapy or get treatment for anything else. This is medical. Trans people need life-saving medical care. Trans people need hormones and surgeries and whatever it is that they need to be themselves and to feel good in their body. It is a serious issue, and more people need to take this seriously, because you wouldn't look at someone with a broken arm and tell them, oh, God intended you to have that broken arm. No, that's not supposed to happen. The reason a person can get a broken arm is because sin exists in the world, and that broken arm needs to be fixed. So the fact that I was born male, that's because of fucking sin, and it needs to be fixed. It needs to be corrected. Now, people are also going to say, well then, Janae, why in the Bible does it say male and female, he created them? It says that in Genesis that's how he made them, right? So God created a man from the dirt, basically, in his own image, and then he took a rib from that man and made a woman. So we have man and women. Those are two binaries. I think God set up two binaries. And then there's non-binary, right? And there's actually a lot of evidence in the Bible that support people being gender non-conforming. We see the instance of Joseph. Joseph, if you don't know the story of Joseph, basically, there's this father that has 12 sons, and one of the youngest is Joseph, and he's different from the rest of his brothers. His brothers are Chads, we could say Chads, I guess. Very masculine, very gifted, very handsome, things like that, right? They were warriors, they were basically athletes to this day. They were the fucking jocks, okay? And Joseph, not so much. Joseph, we could describe as more of like a twink, okay? Joseph was described as dressing femininely and acting more femininely, and he was actually loved the most by his father, and it's upsetted his brothers very much, so they ended up beating him up. And there's more to the story, but just not a Bible story today, so I'm not going to fully get into that. And there's other examples. I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but I do know that there's a woman, I do not exactly know her name, but there's a woman in the Bible who is described as being very masculine. She was an army general, and she led battles, and she was described as masculine. She did things that typically only men would do during that time. So we see many instances of gender non-conforming. So 100%, I think God set two binaries, but I don't think that means that there can't be any in between. I think 100% he made two binaries as like the two sides, but then, there's everywhere in between, non-binary, whatever you could fall into. So honestly, that's all I wanted to get into today. I just want to kind of make the public statement that I am transgender and I'm Christian, and kind of make my claim for why I think it's not sinful, why it's acceptable. And honestly, if there's anyone struggling with being trans, or anybody who's Christian doesn't know if they can be trans or not, or any Christian parents who have a trans child that need help, definitely feel free to hit me up. I'm always open to talk. You can comment or shoot me a DM on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever it may be. You just Google my name, or you can go down to the description and all my links will be right there. Anyways, peace out, bitches. Have a great day.